Well, I think I'm live. If I'm live, somebody tell me if I'm live. I guess with the in broadcast sign up there, it says, yes, you are live. I was going to not use the avatar. However, you couldn't see me anyway because of where I'm positioned and the bad lighting. Thank you, Debbie. I needed to know. Thank you, Ron. Unconditional love, Tarot. So yeah, I have. Today's my birthday, and I'm really thankful for it. Each year around August or so, I began to get pretty contemplative. I go to my notes. I look at the things that I've desired to achieve. I get very reflective. And I one of the wonderful things that has come out of this whole C-19 lockdown situation is that I met so many of you um, online. I met that I've just loved the beauty of the growth of the tarot community. I would watch Jen Lynn, I would watch Becca, I would watch Johnny, I would watch Marianne, and then she turned me on to Dr. Lena. I mean, just how over a few years, all of you have come together and created this really wonderful community. It has actually many nights helped me get through period. And so I really want to thank all of you who showed up tonight to be with me on this be with me tonight. Now I gotta admit, when I woke up this morning, well, actually, I don't know that I really went to bed. I probably stayed awake much of the night trying to watch Dateline till I figured out I'd seen all of them. Shit, they didn't have nothing new on. So um, I thought, wow, the good thing that has happened for all of us is that we're still here. We've been through and are still going through hell. Damn. It seemed to happen right when the demon seed sat down in the chair at the White House. He started fucking up from the time he sat down, talking about he didn't want any Muslims, that nobody could come in. I mean, damn. Um, and I have a friend who's a pharmacist, and he was telling me about how many more people have gotten on uh, antidepressants and shit. that in all his years of being uh, the prez, these last years, all during his term, that he'd never seen so many people uh, who were um, taking antidepressants. God damn! And this nigga won't go away. He's still here talking shit. Now, I know y'all watched the horoscopes last night. That's always fun. Adrian is a ball of laughs. I don't care that she's got some funny ass stories to tell. She and Tony and Johnny and all of y'all are just great. And we need all the laughs we can get. As I've said many times, sometimes shit simply ain't funny. And so let me just give you a few reflections. I have to admit, it has taken me some time to get used to this George Jetson's space age way to communicate and to establish friendships and communities and whatnot. It's taken some adjustment for me because um, the week before last, my church actually had we actually had church in person, and I didn't realize how much I missed hugs, just human touch, and how with this medium we are in a position where we must meet spirit to spirit, so that it's no mistake that we all come here and encourage each other. We make each other we give each other hope. We care about one another, genuinely care about one another. I'm really loving the prayer groups that have started, because no matter what denomination, I don't get into religion because I don't do religion. I think religion has fucked up so many people that I just can't anymore. It just hasn't helped. I have always, as far as I can remember, walked in the spirit. So um it this is very real. This spirit to spirit connection, it's very real and it's palatable. And I just wanted to let all of you know how much I have enjoyed you over these years. um so now let's just get down to some down and dirty. I've been watching news, just sparingly though, because I have to heal. Oh yeah, about the surgery. Okay, well, I am coming along really well because I'm determined. Um, I still have to use the walker, even though I have been walking away from it, which tells me that I'm really ready to throw that thing out into the middle of the parking lot. I mean, I've had these fantasies about jogging, and my fat ass ain't never wanted to run nowhere. I've told people, if you see me running, you call the cops because I am being chased. I ain't never wanted to jog, okay? So, uh, but I'm doing really well. I have my post op appointment on Thursday this week coming. I can't wait to get this bandage off to see what the stitching looks like and all of that. And so that's going really really well. But I have to say that the first week and a half or so, it was really rough going. It was quite painful. I mean, you get into the hospital and they give you the good shit. But baby, when those nerves came alive, baby, 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 whoo, and they tell you to keep ahead of the pain. I wasn't doing that. But man, that morphine pump brought me so much comfort, I tell you. I So I'll be bionic, and I'm lasting until the 20. What century are we in? The 21st, the 22nd, whatever the upcoming centuries. I'm gonna be functioning well into those centuries. I've been. I tell you, I've been also kind of going and diving deep into love. How casual sometimes the word is thrown around. you know it's so easy to say you love someone, but it's like those Easter bunnies that are really chocolatey, and you bite into them, they don't have nothing on the inside. I've been examining myself about my ability to love, and if I'm really loving as I should, because we're supposed to love even those that we can't stand. I'm still a work in progress, and I'm still attempting to do my best to not get vexed when I hear just the just the stupidity and the nonsense coming out of Agent Orange's mouth. I'm from the state of Nevada. He just had another unhinged rally there. Now he went to Minden. Anybody that's been to Nevada knows that the biggest city is Vegas. Reno comes second. Tahoe is next. Those are kind of like the quote unquote cities. Okay, the rest are composed of like mining towns and shit. So you got a bunch of towns around there where it might be a few hundred people, maybe a few thousand. But I'm embarrassed. I mean, when I was growing up there, I had the hard lesson that the racism was stealth. You know, it wasn't something that was open, um, but it was just present. And now I'm just disappointed by all of this MAGA bullshit coming out of the mouths of the people that live there. Ooh, Jesus, it's scary. It's really scary. And he's just managed to he's appealed so much to the lowest vibrating, like even evangelicals preaching hate from the pulpit. It's like, y'all really think that the Christ or your God, the God of love and compassion and mercy, is in y'all's bullshit? I mean, really? Oh my God. They sound like ravenous dogs when they're telling these lies. I mean, I listened to I think it might have been Midas Touch story where some pastor was calling Democrats uh baby eating something, or he's running across and he's almost like foaming at the mouth, calling Democrats baby eaters and pedophiles. And I realized that he didn't have to back anything up by facts, even though he says he's got proof. They never show you the proof, but he says he's got proof. So anyway, his ass is lying to the people. The church is standing up and giving him praise and clapping and carrying on because they really believe that. How can you say you love the Lord? How can you say you love the Lord? How can you say it? How can you say it and talk like that? I don't get it. Now we come to our boy Kanye. I've kind of given up. First of all, he reminds me of anybody who's ever watched Boondocks. You are familiar with Uncle Ruckus, and any more. Kanye reminds me of Uncle Ruckus. It's like he. The one thing I can say is both he and his Agent Orange friend, they do good marketing. They know how to come out with some shit for your ass. So the latest thing is the Balenciaga fashion show where the people walked in mud. That's always nice. He had his children dressed in Balenciaga. He has children with him, and they're dressed in these clothes that are torn jeans. And I mean, I really can't wrap my head around why somebody would pay thousands of dollars for some shit to make them look homeless. I don't get it because I don't believe homeless people want to look homeless. But anyway, he was there, and he and Candace Owen, dear Candace, came out with White Lives Matter t-shirts. He then went on to Tucker Carlson and gave us his word salad about why he did it. And I just say, all right, the real deal is all lives matter. However, the truth is that it hasn't always fared well for us who are people of color, black, brown, and yellow. I only know about being black. It hasn't felt like our lives have always mattered. Hence the movement. I'm disappointed in what appears to be um, the money being spent so that the ones who are fronting Black Lives Matter are living in mansions and shit. I mean, yeah, that make me give you the side eye. However, the movement itself, I have to believe, started from the heart and started as a result of seeing the killing. Actually, now there was a difference between knowing that there were deaths that occurred in this nation by police and whatnot. But seeing it with George Floyd kicked it up to a whole new level. So anyway, now there's a lot of conversation about him and Candace and these White Lives Matter T-shirts or shirts or whatever. You know, child, I just get to the point and say, let their asses have it. I don't know that they need to stand on the front lines and protect white people. I don't know they need to do that. I don't know why they're doing it. And at this juncture, I don't care. I don't have shit to say about it. I really don't. I feel Kanye never got I just feel like he's just never gotten over his marriage, his divorce, his wife. I remember when he started going out with her, he said that Kim was his Beyonce. And then I don't know, I guess shit spun out of control. You know, they say the KKK, that Kardashian coochie is uh uh is something else now. They eat your brains and drive you nuts and then spit your ass out. And I guess Kanye is just a casualty of it all. Not that I could, I don't know. I don't know that if I were married to him that I would stay married to his ass either, because he's just too many things. He believes his press. He is very talented. I used to dig his music. I don't dig it anymore because I don't dig him anymore. I think he's playing in all our faces. And so now he's feeling his blackness again, and he wants to come back and be black again and work with black companies and stuff. Y'all don't do it. He could wake up feeling some kind of way and deciding that he doesn't want to play with you anymore. He doesn't want to do your shit anymore. So you're not Adidas. You're not any of the huge companies he's been aligned with. Um, I just don't know that even if he offered that I would go for it. That I really think that his spiraling has to do with the fact that he hasn't gotten over her. He hasn't really fully accepted that she no longer wants to be with him. She wants nothing to do with, I mean, outside of the children. She wants to get on with her life. I don't know. I just took a long look at his face, and he looked gaunt to me, like the beard. He looked gaunt and his eyes looked dead. So I think that he's just a casualty. He's that their whole divorce, their whole situation is just so public, and it's been so ugly. And I really feel that much of what is troubling him, could potentially be a broken heart. Maybe that's what it's all about. Maybe that's why he's cutting the fool, or it could be the curse. I don't know, because I not many black men came out of there the same way they went in. Boo. shit, shit. Um, Also, so back to birthday and reflections. Also on birthdays, I kind of go back over my life and the birthday parties I've had and some of my little childhood memories. My mother's birthday was October 6th, and I always kind of celebrate with her in the spirit. She was a beautiful woman and quite spicy, so I got a lot of that from her, a lot of my spiciness from her. And I remember telling y'all a story when I wanted to be a princess for the Halloween party. And they had those, you know how you go and get those flammable Halloween costumes, those costumes in a bag that you better not get near any kind of flame or your ass is gone. And there was this it looked like, I don't know, the blonde wasn't even blonde. It was cornflake color or something. And she was trying to convince me to get a wig, to get like a wig. She would style me a pretty wig, but I wanted to be blonde. And I got to thinking about that because, now it's not unusual for Black women to be blonde. But at the time, I did not realize I was going to be a trendsetter, that I was really just way before my time. Now, I can also admit that I have always been a showgirl because every day, after we would get bathed and dressed and our hair would be combed, and my mother would come looking for me, I would have stripped down and I would be standing in the mirror with a pencil or a brush or something, and I would be performing. Yeah, I didn't like clothes then either, but I never wanted to pursue a career as a stripper. Um, so I've always been a showgirl. I kind of knew when I knew as a kid that music was it for me. That's where I wanted to be. That's what I wanted to do. And when I think back on the people that I have gigged with, the people that I've met, the people that I can actually call friends, it is pretty fucking amazing, because the good thing about doing anything that we do in life, what we have to understand that there is no time stamp on a dream. It can only be stopped when we decide that we're not going to pursue it anymore. But I'm just crazy enough to keep going for this thing, crazy enough to keep going after my dream because I've been able to live it, and I can say that with pride. I mean, I can say that with pride. Um, One of the stories my mother used to laugh about, at the time it wasn't very funny to her, was I used to love to hang out with the teenage girls because they had boobs and thin waists and they had hips. And I prayed to God and I asked him to let my blouses and my skirts poke out like the big girls. And so I can say to you that the Lord answered that prayer. And even I'm not gonna, it's none of your damn business how old I am. One of these days I'll reveal it, but right now it ain't none of your business. Um, I still rock it, okay? I'll get into that in a minute. But anyway, one day I found my mother was had a bag, and she was throwing away some old garments, and within those old garments were old bras, and I found one, and I sneaked it out of the bag. I found one. And then I put rocks in the bra, okay? And instead of putting the bra on underneath my sweater, I actually paraded down the streets with my mother's old bra that she was throwing away. Uh, Parading in the streets, okay? She was unaware of it until a neighbor said, "Did you know that Dee is out in the middle of the street with one of your bras on, packed with rocks, and walking up and down the street?" I can't tell you, the price I paid was quite serious. I mean, it was, yes, I did. Desiree, yes, I did. Yes, I did. Needless to say, it didn't go down well with my mother because, first of all, if she was throwing the bra away, you had to know that it had served her well. So that was the first thing. But the fact that I was out there doing that was just horrified her. And she said, I was always a curious kid and I always liked being alone. And I do remember this. I remember getting a shovel and digging a deep, deep hole. There was a field and some trees in the back of our house. And I would go on adventure walks and just do all kinds of mischievous things. Sometimes bordering on dangerous, but God knows that He looks out for babies and fools. But I got a shovel and I went out and I dug this hole and I dug 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 and I dug. And in that hole, I had created my mansion. I packed the mud so that I had, or the dirt, so I had a living area. I had a kitchen. Um, I had 5 or 6 bedrooms. I had a beauty, and it was just a hole to some people. But to me, I would spend hours sitting in that hole fantasizing about this grand life of mine. And of course, the neighbors again thought something was up with me because they had to tell me, Dee is sitting in a hole in the middle of the field. And my mother said, yes, I know. I mean, I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Oh my God. Uh, so I was, yeah, I was always I was always independent in that kind of thinking until you get to go into school and stuff and you really want to make friends and friends become important to you and what people think of you becomes important to you. See, that's where a lot of times if you don't have someone in your life who is encouraging you and who is letting you know that you are all right, that you're all right, uh you can get really fucked up by other people's opinions. And in our society today makes it very hard for people to be themselves. It makes it very hard for people to stand in their truth. Our churches, our parents, our friends, family, environment, whatever, it makes it very hard for people to stand 10 toes down in their actual truths. And I think what we are seeing more of is that there are more people who are saying, what the fuck? People are going to go off and they're going to do their thing and they may never give you any thought. So why do we spend so much time trying to please others? And sometimes, I know for me, it was quite painful growing up. Um, I was bullied and I was so not well, and I shouldn't say I was so, I am so, I was so in love with the Holy Spirit as a child that I really don't think I didn't think like other children thought. And I had gotten to a point where I was just exhausted with trying to pull them up to my dream world, to pull them up to the higher places, to come fly with me through the universe. I became very weary with that. It became like tough for me, and because I was outgoing and joined clubs and actually participated in a lot of activities that a lot of the black kids just didn't get involved with. I mean, I guess they thought I was trying to be something else, but I was always aware of my blackness, always aware of my beauty. That lesson came from Barbara Harnage, my mother, who helped me one day when I came in after being called a chocolate bar. I think I might have been in first grade. Um, it's one named John Simmons wanted me to get off the swing, and he said, "You get off that swing, you chocolate bar." And he didn't say chocolate bar like he dug chocolate. And I stood my ground for a moment, and then I just decided to punch him in the eye and just run to the classroom, run to my first grade teacher, Roberta Smith, may she rest in power. I loved her. Feigning illness so I could put my head down because I was trying to wrap it around how anybody could not like chocolate. And then as I was resting and pondering that thought, we had this mean bitch teacher named Miss Bailey. She walked with a limp. And that bitch sounded like she drank bourbon as a baby and smoked cigarettes. She had one of the rough, gravelly voices. She was just a bitch. And she came in and she made a comment about me being a brown child. Well, that just did it. I went home that day, and when we in our household, you came home, you got out of your school clothes, you washed up, you got out of your school clothes, and you put on your play clothes. And I stood and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I noticed that I didn't have blonde hair. I noticed that my hair didn't blow in the wind. I noticed that even with some of my black friends who were what we would call high yellow, light skin with green eyes and shit, with the good hair, Becky with the good hair, baby, I didn't have that. And it was the distressing thing for me that day. So I was got busy with some cleanser and began to kind of tug at my hair and scrub my skin to see if I could get to that high yellow thing. And of course, all that was happening is that I was creating a thing, and my mother heard the water running, and I think she was going to probably come in and ask me what, because you didn't play in the water, unless you were outside playing in the water. You didn't play in the bathroom sink and stuff like that. And she noticed I was having a rough time because she could see the anguish. And my mom came in and she sat down and she asked me what was going on, and I just broke down and cried. I wasn't high yellow. I didn't have green eyes. My hair didn't blow in the wind, and it wasn't blonde. And she calmed me down. The best way to get to me was to give me a cherry popsicle. They're still my favorites. She put some salve on my hand. She kind of wiped my tears away and gave me a cherry popsicle. And she asked me to take a walk with her. And my parents were great farmers. Everything they touched grew and flourished. And there was always just more than enough for anybody. I mean, my first business enterprise was a vegetable stand. Um, and she took me around her flowers. She wanted me to come out and walk with her. And we walked, and she had all these beautiful flowers, all these beautiful colors, textures, leaf shapes, all these things. And she began to draw my attention to the beauty of all the flowers, all the beautiful colors, how even a family of flowers, not all the flowers necessarily looked alike. Uh, just the beauty of of being different, even if you're even in a community, even in a crowd, the beauty of being different. Just that day resonates with me because she always taught us the the inventors of black inventors, black educators. She was a great historian that way. So we caught black history at home. But I think but at that time it didn't I don't think any of that really mattered to me until that day when she helped me understand the beauty of me, um, the beauty of my hair, the beauty of my skin color, um, and how each and every one of us is endowed or imbued with that beauty, and to never allow anyone in the world, not to allow anyone to ever rob me of that or take that away from me or to make me feel some kind of way about it. And I have to tell you that over the years, you do, as a black woman, um, you do sometimes, as a black person, not just as a black woman, we all got to talk about before we went to school about how some of the white children would feel about us and what we could, or even some of the teachers, or what we could potentially be called. I mean, we all had to have that pep talk going to school. Um, so I really, I've really thought about what a fabulous life I've had, that I mean, when you have the king of pop look at your ass and call it awesome, yeah, that's a big fucking deal. Yeah, the king of pop, Michael Jackson himself, y'all, as I'm standing on an elevator next to him, not realizing I'm standing on this elevator. I was working for Jermaine at the time, not realizing that I was on the elevator and that I thought I had kind of that. Well, the way the thing was set up, the Jacksons themselves had done what they call that tour. The fuck, I can't see now. I can't remember the name of it. It'll come to me. Anyway, Jermaine was coming into his. He was doing "Why Did You Do What You Do" and "Let's Get Serious" and some other stuff. So he was coming up. Janet was making waves, and so it was a victory tour. That's what it was. And so when they played in L.A., Jermaine's son wanted to go, and he asked if I would mind taking him, and I mean I didn't. It was an outing. It would be great fun for me. So we go to this concert, and I mean it was magnificent. We're all rushed, there's security, and we're all rushed into these fabulous rooms that were prepared for us, and escorted because of the stadium. We had to be escorted to a section where the very VIPs sat, um, and the odd thing was Diana Ross was there, and she kept turning around looking at me. Uh, that was kind of cute. Nobody knew who I was. I just knew that I was with Jai or Jermaine Jr. Um, and but they didn't know who I was, and she kept turning around looking at me. I don't know, maybe she thought she saw a ghost or something. Later, years down the line, when I was on tour and we were playing Vegas and Reno, the Supremes I guess they had kind of come together to try to revive. Well, they were playing Vegas, like a lot of those kinds of acts play Vegas. They play Tahoe, they play Reno, and they had just left before the group I was with came in, and there were people who actually thought I was her. I hope she never found out that I pretended. I did sign a name or two because shit, it was fun. Anyway, after the concert, we're whisked off this bandstand and we're back in these limousines, and we're rushed to where all the Jacksons, where everybody, their entourages, their families and stuff are staying. And I'm hustling Jai, and we're hustling to get into the elevator so that we could all meet where Jermaine was. And when I get in the elevator, I just get in like a lot of people get in elevators. You don't really notice people around you. I mean, people look at you like you're a freak if you say good morning in elevators, but I was focusing on getting he and I into the elevator and looking down until I looked to my left and I saw him, and he looked back. He kind of tilted his head and looked back at my ass, and he said, "Awesome." And Jermaine and Randy were in the back of the elevator, and Jermaine was clowning. He thought it was fucking hilarious. He loved it. Okay, so that is just that. When I think about some of these kinds of things, people think they don't believe me. I guess because they're just too. They just don't. I guess because I mean, if they had been dreaming with me, they might have been able to come along with me on some of these adventures. Um, so I take time every year to kind of reflect on my life more and more. With each year, you become more thankful, you become more grateful, you 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 become more thankful, you become more grateful. I should actually have a friend who's been freaking on my back to write a book about some of the adventures I've had. I have to think about that because I can never lie and say everybody was innocent. Okay. And maybe out of respect for their families or something, I really haven't jotted anything down. But one of these days, or maybe I'll just come on here and I'll just blow it up. I'll just tell the stories. This will be story time. But I think about how fabulous a life I have actually had. I have traveled the world at least 3 times because I could sing. I have stayed in 5-star hotels, grand places. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Even in the most grandest of hotels and shit happens, okay? So I was on my last live, I think I mentioned how no matter wherever I've been, I've always been delighted to get back to America. I know why people want to come here. I know why people risk life and limb. They risk death to get to these shores. And I think what we have happening right now is that we are at a crossroads where America has to be what she says that she is. That we have to somehow or another, may never happen in my lifetime or our lifetimes. We have to we have to, I don't know, try to love the hell out of those who think that if I don't look like you, talk like you, I ain't blonde, I ain't blue-eyed, blah, 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 blah. The White Lives Matter children who feel like the only thing, if it isn't the way you are, I'm going to turn the hatred I have for myself and I'm going to project it onto you. And so I'm going to kill you because I'm too much of a coward to kill my own self. That I'm too much of a coward to admit my own misery. That we are at a point in time where we are fighting for the soul of this nation. And this nation is composed of spirits, beautiful spirits, beautiful spirits. Every nation is. This is not, this isolationism that people seem to want to put in place is, I just don't see that it's ever going to, who wants to be isolated? Who wants to be cut off from the rest of the world? Who wants to not experience other cultures, foods, clothes, music, dance? Who wants to live like that? And how dare any one group of people act as if that this country, that not just this country, but this world is for them and them alone. How dare you? We learn about all the people who sailed around the world discovering this. You don't discover what already is. This nation that we call the United States of America was inhabited long before Columbus or anyone else came and planted a flag down for the Queen. There were people living here, thriving here, families here. And through colonization, people just took shit. They just took it. It's pretty. I want it. Therefore, it's mine. In the name of the Queen. That's kind of simplifying it. But to think that this world is for one group of people only is just absurd, isn't it? I mean, look at our community, the Tarot community. People from all over the world communicate. People from all over the world get together and they read their cards, and they are on the same vibration, so that they will ask a question, and they're so connected spiritually that they'll get the same message or the same cards. How magnificent is that? How magnificent is that? So I know that we feel like we've been beat down, okay? I know I have on many days. I know that many days, I've just cried for this nation, because maybe I had blinders on. I was ignorant. I don't know. But again, having traveled to magnificent, beautiful destinations in this world, I just this is where my forefathers and mothers lived and shed blood and contributed to its greatness. And so I love this country. And it is and we are going through a very we are all traumatized. Not and we're traumatized because change is difficult. We're not grandparents, you know. We now have nieces and nephews that are having children. I mean, we're becoming elders, or have become elders. And I I just hope that we have been able to, that those of us who have, that we have all been able to mentor, or been able to somehow bring a beautiful influence, or something of beauty to the young ones calling coming up now, because I'm really very, very enthusiastic about the future. We see how our Congress is changing, as younger people are running and actually winning their elections. It's traumatic, because the old cats, Melting Mitch, Skeletor, I mean, all the ones that, this country is all about the hurt feelings of white Anglo-Saxon Protestant men. They are so used to being in charge that they still want to be in charge, and they are freaking out because you're no longer in charge. And the worst thing any of y'all's asses could have done is fuck with Roe versus Wade, baby. None of y'all should get any coochie in Timor. You should all have to get familiar with Miss Palm and her 5 daughters, because this as I'm saying, all this November is going to determine how we move, whether we remain the nation that we say we are, or whether we become something that is absolutely fucking that we unrecognizable to us. I was listening to a lady in Minden, Nevada, from Russia, who talked about how much she loved Putin, how much she loved Trump. I'm thinking, bitch, go back. You can get a ticket home, because we're not looking for that in this country. We're not enchanted with dictators. Uh, we're not. We don't want that. And so You're right, Ron. Truth will always touch people's hearts and needs to be heard. We I know we're tired, but we have to dig deeper now. We have to dig as deeply as we can and pull out that last little bit that we think we don't even have in order to bring some normal, to bring some, to settle some shit, to bring something that feels comfortable, something that feels normal. Because what this last 4 or 5 years, that's not normal. That hasn't been normal. That we've had to make adjustments. But I don't know too many people whose lives improved under the last regime, except those who didn't have to worry about shit anyway. COVID didn't. I landed in an extended stay. I thought I would be here for a couple of weeks. Here it is, October in 2022. I came here in June of 2020, and oh my God, I pray for the day that I'm able to get into my home. I still hang on to that dream. Um, some people, we know the ones, we know where they are. They didn't have the issues that many of us had with work, with sustaining. But the thing is, we are still here, and we are still, even if we have to scrape the bottom of our purses, we are still here. We have come so far, and we all deserve a pat on the back. We all deserve to give ourselves big hugs. We all deserve it. And as I see going into this new year, my new year, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I celebrate every day that comes, because every day there is some joy. Every day there's something to be happy about, to be delighted about. There is something to be thankful and grateful for. Now, as y'all see, I got my something wonderful is happening now. You see my Cash Apps and my PayPal's, and this is a unabashed beg. Yeah, damn it, I love gifts, y'all. So if I would love to hear from you on Cash App, if you feel compelled to do so. But what's most important is that this is the most people that I have had in this chat in a very, very long time. And I just have to embrace you all with big hugs and thank you for coming over to celebrate with me, because some of the people that I thought I was going to hear from, I ain't heard from yet, okay? And they're not people I met online. these these are princes I've had for years. I understand though, because life is really pushing us along. So I thank you all for your birthday blessings. I thank you all for thinking enough of me to leave that wonderful. I love Sunday nights with Becca, Jen, and and Johnny. Becca's birthday is on the 17th. Adrian has birthday coming up. Sienna Roses is the same day as mine, the 9th, as is John Lennon, Nona Hendrix, who was with LaBelle. Let's see who else. There's a bunch of brilliant people born on the 9th. So I'm swimming with some really wonderful human beings uh, who broke through and manifest on these earth planes on this day, whatever year it is. So thank you all so much for coming and spending a little bit of time with me. Um, I hope that on my next live that I'll see you. And who knows? Perhaps on my next live I'll tell you some more stories, some more of my adventure stories. I want to thank Ron Unconditional Love Tarot. And if you see people's names in here, go Chris Wickens, Teresa Balthazar, Sharon Sipe, My Warrior Princess, and Jaconda, who's always, she's my ride or die. Jaconda has been, hi Jody, thank you. I love you and Jen on Sacred Sounds of Coffee. I don't comment a lot anymore. I'm just listening a lot more than I am. To Electra, to I don't know, GM Gum from Fullman one, GMFUHLMAN1, Trey Letches Love. I'm gonna get that piece of cake tomorrow. Um, let's see who else is in there. I know Johnny was here for a while. Becca and Jen came in. Thank you so much. I thank you all so very much. Desiree, thank you for showing up. Let's see. Let's go to the top and see who came in. All of these wonderful emojis and hearts. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Adrian, for remembering me. And so the next birthday, I think it might be Becca's. Hers is next week. Let me see. What is the 17th? The 17th is the Sunday. It's coming up. So I know we'll all be there to help her celebrate her birthday. And again, it's not this is all brand new to us. You know, this is the way we have to do it. I want you all to know that I still have my practice where I go back. Hey, lucky girl, where I still go back through the names. I write them all down. I mark the date, and I lift up prayers for you all. I don't know what you need. You know what you need. God, the Holy Spirit knows what we need, and what I want us all to try to do. Just do the best we can to first love on yourself. Many of the oracle cards readings have been about us taking deep dives into ourselves, for us really being that which we want to see. It's easy to say, it's not always easy to do. But if we are going to expect love, then we must be willing to be and to give love. Take some time with yourself. Spend some time with yourself. Maybe it's time for us to get to know ourselves all over again or for the first time. But take some time to regenerate and rejuvenate, especially those that are mothers and fathers, those who are caregivers. None of us can run on empty. So this week, take some time to decompress, take some time to love on yourself. If you can, do something that you want to do that doesn't have anything to do with the demands that anyone else may be putting on you. Love on yourself this week. And I guess I'll see you in the chats. Yeah, thank you, Lucky Girl. Thank all of you for being here for each other. We are each other's support group. That is the truth. Hey, Aspie Third Eye. Um, let's continue to love on one another. I mean, we've created a community here, and I love it. I honestly love you all. You all are very special to me. And I think Johnny, it was Johnny, was Teresa and Adrian are very, very dear to my heart, very dear to my heart, because I met them on these YouTubes. They helped me get the courage to come on here and do this. Uh, they, yeah, they're very special people to me. So before I start getting all teary eyed and shit, I just want to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of a Sunday night to come and allow me to ramble on and to share some of my stories, my adventures. I do so appreciate it. All the best, all the love to each and every one of you. And I'll see you at the next, whoever, I don't know where our next gathering is, but keep your notification bells on because I'm sure we'll all gather on somebody's live sometime this week. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful night. And thanks again. Love you. Peace.